Big victory today. I mean, a lot was made of Neil's reach and his streak, and you made it look like nothing tonight. So kind of talk about your performance and what happened out there.
We went into the fight knowing that Neil's long. He was probably like 10 inches more than me with the reach. He's 6'3", I'm 5'11", so him being tall is an advantage, but it's also a disadvantage, We wanted to attack the legs. We just wanted to be calculated in everything we did. We watch his past fights. Well, my camp has watched his past fights, and we know that guys tend to hurt him, over pursue, and empty their gas tank, and just like Hector did, and he's beat a couple guys like that. So we just wanted to, go in, hurt him, and be calculated, and still be aggressive, but not empty no gas tank and just tear them apart.
We talked about, slightly disrespected by the UFC and how they promoted your fights and being a free agent. What statement do you think you made tonight with this performance?
I think I made a pretty big statement. I'm not even ranked, so I couldn't tell you even if there was rankings from 1 to 50. I couldn't tell you where I was at. So, I think it just shows a lot. I took the fight on short notice, and I finished them in the first round. And I don't feel like it was a lucky shot. I think it was just right from the get-go. Sticking to the game plan, and it showed where I was at in this division.
How much pressure did you put on yourself knowing that it was your final fight on your contract to really be able to perform at a high level and deliver a performance?
I'm not saying this just because I won. Going into the fight, I had no pressure on me. It was just a last-minute fight, and I was halfway in shape, and I just had to have a little mock camp to get myself fully prepared. And, I felt like he had more pressure on him than I did. I'm not known, I'm not ranked. He's the number 7 guy, and it would be bad for me to come in there and beat him. So I was just going in like it's just another fight, that, I want to win. I'm not saying that, I'm going in there to lose, but I had no pressure. I don't even think I had enough time to even have pressure. I was so focused on training, and by the time I was thought about training, I was driving out to Vegas, doing fight week. So there's no pressure on me.
Do you feel like this was the best performance you've had in the UFC so far, though?
Against the opponent, yes. I felt like I had other performances, but as far as a top guy like that, yes.
So, there's some liberation certainly of coming when you feel no pressure. I mean, you fought like a bat out of hell tonight, which was that part of it, that you really felt like you had nothing to lose?
Well, I just wanted to go in there and have him respect, my power, and I felt great. This is my first time trying this this new weight cut system, or not the weight cut, but the new weigh-in system, and I felt great. I felt big, I felt strong. I like it.
Well, you were saying that for some of you who may not even know who I am, I mean, is proving something, is making the name, making them pay attention part of what you're in there to do as well? Yeah,
it's not like I don't, I see stuff on the media and the internet, and comments, when UFC posts stuff and Fight Pass was posting stuff, and I see the comments of fans like, who is this guy? Who is he? I don't, so it's just one of those things where, I felt like, okay, I'm gonna show you motherfuckers.
But they also always talk about you being the last guy to beat Robbie Lawler, and how much does that play to, being something that you're proud about?
I don't care for it too much, I'm not the guy that's gonna keep bringing that up. It was at a different time. I'm not saying how it would go now, but yes, I beat him, but he's a totally different fighter. I'm a totally different fighter, and that was back then, and he's changed his career around. So that's why I didn't want to make that too much of a big deal and try to hype up something when at the point I didn't deserve it. I want everything I get to be deserved. I don't want to talk shit and build up a fight for what. I'm going to earn it, and there's going to be no doubt in everybody's mind why I'm fighting the person I'm fighting.
Lorenz, are you looking forward to becoming a free agent?
You know what? I'm excited to see how everything goes, how everything plays out. So we'll see. We'll see how everything plays out.
Are you going to test the market, or do you want to be in the UFC? Are you curious to see what your worth is outside of the UFC?
I'm just curious to see whoever's gonna, you know, whoever's gonna point me in the right direction and it's gonna market me, you know, and build me as a fighter. And I'm just gonna sit with my team and my management and go from there.
Is that a conversation that you're going to have about marketing if you choose to stay with the UFC? Because you've been vocal about it in the past.
Yeah, you know, I feel like I'm a marketable guy. You know, I feel like I can talk. I'm not the greatest talker, but I'm not just like, oh, you know, I feel like I can have a fighter to watch, you know, and I feel like I'm marketable. So, you know, we'll see. You know, I'm going to see what my manager's talking about and with my coaches, you know, and just go from there.
Hey, speaking of money, I ran into you last night while you were playing craps. How'd you end up doing?
I did pretty good, you know, because I always stay up late, you know, the day before my fight. So, you know, I did pretty good.
Good.
When we spoke on Thursday, you said you weren't really sure, you know, how this was going to work out being on Fight Pass and, you know, the marketing and everything, and you said you would give us an answer after the fact. Now that you're here, you got the win and everything, how do you feel about the way this fight was promoted?
I think it was promoted good. You know, I had a talk with, you know, Eric, and I told him, you know, you guys changed my mind. You know, I seen all the media stuff that they've been doing, and they've really been pushing, you know, our fight. So, you know, I was happy with it. You know, I feel like we got marketed more for this fight than if we would have got on the first or second fight on pay-per-view. You know, the viewership would have been different, you know, obviously, but, you know, I feel like as far as marketing, we got marketed pretty good.
Does it bother you at all that so early on the card, you know, it's Vegas, a product of, you know, there's not tons of people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Was that noticeable to you?
Oh yeah, yeah, it was noticeable. But you know, I like to. Sometimes I don't really like to get here and late, and then it's just like I'm waiting. This I was able to just kind of get here and get wrapped up, warm up, and then it was almost time to go. So I liked it, you know, but it was a little different, you know, but it was cool. And now I get to go out and enjoy the fights.
Yeah, and with the early weigh-ins, I know you said you felt better than ever. How much of a difference is that extra 6 hours or so to rehydrate? Do you feel like that contributed to this performance?
I felt like it did. You know, I felt really, really strong, and my weight was really, really, really good. And yeah, the extra, was it 6 hours, 7 hours?
Yeah.
There's a big difference. Big difference.
If you choose to stay with the UFC, is there anybody that you want to fight next that's in the top 10 in the welterweight division?
I never call out nobody. It's just, you know, I've always been a gamer. You know, it's I never turn down fights. I never made up an excuse why that fight doesn't make sense. You know, anything that the UFC has tossed at me, I've signed. You know, and that's just the type of fighter I am. You know, obviously, fighters want big fights and want big money. You know, but I was always just a gamer. You know, is whatever Joe Silva threw at us, we accepted. There was no hesitation. It was just, what's the date? Where's it at? Hopefully it's close to California because I hate flying, and we're all for it. So I mean, I don't call out nobody. So it's just whoever they throw, that's it.
Lorenz, when we were first introduced to you, you were a light heavyweight wearing those gladiator shorts on Strikeforce Challengers, and you've come a long way, and your UFC career didn't really go, I think, as planned. Do you feel like you're finally now putting it together? It took a little longer than maybe some expected because you were kind of hyped as one of the young guns in Strikeforce, but now finally it's all coming together for you?
Yeah, you know, I had you know, I'm 29. You know, I experienced a lot, you know, in my career, and you know, I was real stubborn, you know, and when I was amateur, I was heavyweight, you know, I weighed 240. I was fighting guys big, you know, and went down to 205, and then 85, and then now 70, you know. But this is my weight class, and you know, this is where I want to be at, and you know, this is where I'm gonna make some noise at. You know, I feel like.